All right, so this is Unit 3 of your textbook Translation 2, and Unit 3 talks about technical style. Technical style is everything related to technology, technical manual, scientific, and all these styles, okay? So the technical style varieties and characteristics. Let's look into it. So technical language means the language of science and technology, okay, like physics, chemistry, biology, medicine, engineering, and so on and so forth. Anything that is specialized, technical, relates to the technical language. So each of these disciplines has its own technical terms, what we call jargons. Jargons هي المصطلحات المختصة بنوع معين من اللغة يلي هي لغة العلوم ولغة التقنية ولغة التكنولوجيا. Okay? So this is related to technical language. What are the characteristics of a technical language? There are three characteristics that we need to understand in order to write properly technical vocabulary and terms, and in order also to be able to translate these jargons. And these are: number one, each specialized branch of knowledge includes scientific and technical disciplines. Scientific and technical discipline has its own jargon. Yani, if we're talking about medicine, medicine has its own jargon. If we're talking about the environment has its own jargon. If we're talking about technical manuals, those manuals have their own technical jargons and or specialized jargons. So we need to know them in order to translate them properly. The second type or the second characteristic of technical language is technical texts are seldom aimed at non-specialist translator, meaning that a person who becomes a translator and who wants to be specialized in a special language or a special type of, let's say, specialty, okay, needs to be able or needs to be specialized. Yani, a translator that is specialized in medicine cannot be a translator or cannot translate something related to engineering, for example. Okay, so a translator knows from the first time where he or she wants to be specialized in, and then they have to be specialized in a specific discipline in order to learn the vocabulary and jargon of that discipline. A translator of medicine needs to learn everything related to medicine, including the jargon. A translator that is specialized in engineering needs to know all the jargons and vocabulary and terminologies related to engineering, okay? And the third characteristic of the technical language is the grammatical characteristic, okay? So these are the three main characteristics. Let's take them one at a time. So the first one are the jargons used in the specialized language. We said that each discipline in these languages, or in this language, what we call the technical language, has its own jargons, okay? So these are special terms, vocabularies, terminologies that are exclusive to this type of discipline. They are called neologisms, and neologism mean new word. Okay, they are used in technical texts. There you will find them, and they may have special meanings. Okay, يعني maybe a jargon or a word or a vocabulary that you usually use in some common settings. When you use them in technical language, they will have different meanings. Okay, they create a challenge to the translator because they are specialized, because the translator needs to know them. Otherwise, they will have problems translating the actual meaning of this term or of this word to, for example, Arabic. Okay? So, for example, in your book, you have different terminologies or um, words that are related to the technical language. For example, we have electric deflagration. Okay, so this in Arabic means الاحتراق السريع بالتأثير الكهربائي. If you are not a technical translator who is specialized in a technical language or discipline, you will never guess the meaning of this word. So you need to be, or you need to have the skills and knowledge in order to translate these words. Gasometric analysis, التحليل الكمي للغازات. Layan, can you try and read this one? Layan, are you with me?
دكتورة صوتك قطع.
Can you try and read this word?
جايوجد mortar.
Okay, gold mortar. Okay, so if you are not,
okay.
yes, if you are not a specialized translator or a specialized language user, you will not be able to read it or understand it. Okay, so this is, I mean, the meaning is ملاط من الإسمنت والكلس والرمل. Okay, per vibration, which is هزهزت الخرسانة داخليا لتدميجها. Okay, so the point is of understanding jargons is to be able to know them first, read them, understand them, and know the meaning of these jargons. You have to be specialized in this type of jargon, okay? Or in this type of specialized language, specialized terminology, in order to be able to translate them. The second characteristic that we talked about are specialist translators. Since we have specialized vocabulary, terminologies, and jargons, we need to have specialized translators. If the translators are not specialists, they would find themselves with problems understanding first the word, and then they will have problems in translating these words if they don't understand them. There are two reasons why there would be problems of inacceptability to the typical technical source text. Sorry, not inacceptability, inaccessibility to the typical technical source text. The first one is a lexical reason. Okay. And these texts employ special technical vocabulary. Why lexical? Lexical means something related to the word itself. Okay, so the text, or these specialized texts employ specialized terminology. These terms are not used in everyday ordinary language. Why? Well, because they are specialized. They are only used with these technical disciplines. Some may be ordinary everyday terms, however, they may have other meanings. Okay, so as I said, some of these jargons, vocabularies, we may use them in other disciplines or in common um, speaking or common writing practices. However, when they become specialized or when they are used in specialized discipline, they may have other meanings than the ones we know. That's why we need to understand them at the level of the lexis, at the level of the word itself. The second reason are conceptual reasons. And here, experts and specialists may know the terms, but other translators may not have prior knowledge of these terms, meaning that even as a translator, if I am not a specialist in this type of discipline, I will not know the real meaning used in this discipline. Okay, so I will need to go back to some experts and specialists and ask them about these meanings. Okay, translating the development of new ideas and their relation to other concepts. So even when I go and ask experts or specialists, some of these words develop, change. They are used with other things. Okay. So I need not only to understand their different meanings, but how they relate to each other or other words within the concept of the specialized field that I'm working on or in. Okay. The third characteristic that we will talk about is the grammatical characteristic. Okay. Um, like what? When we talk about grammar, like using the passive voice, اللي هو المبني للمجهول, when we don't know who the agent or we don't care who the agent is, but we care about the action. Okay. Ali opened the door. The door was opened by Ali. We don't care who opened the door, but we care that the door was open, for example. Using third person, you, okay, not you, sorry, using the third person, he, she, it, or they, okay, and or like using the present tense in some of the texts, and more than this. They do not actually consist a special problem. They are not in Arabic. They in brief, I mean, they are not a problem for the translator. Okay. So what are the problems are mainly based on the lexical side, on the word itself. However, the grammatical and syntactic characteristic of the technical language is not that hard to translate. So we can translate it easily and it doesn't pose a problem to the translator. They are used in most other types of specialized languages. Okay? هلا, when we talk about technical language, we go, or as a translator, we lean toward working with the direct translation or literal translation, okay? But twisting it to work with the technical, or not technical, syntactic feature of the other language. If we're talking about the Arabic language, it should be, or it should follow the structure of the Arabic language. Like, for example, if we start in English with a noun for the sentence, in Arabic, we usually start with the verb. Okay? The technical style is usually objective. It's straightforward. We don't use metaphor. We don't use personification. We don't beautify the language. It's straight. We use direct translation for it. It's free from emotive language. Connotation means the other hidden meanings of a word, not like the other meanings. There is difference between a denotative meaning and a connotative meaning. A denotative meaning means that this word has more than one meaning in the dictionary. However, a connotative meaning means that this word has some hidden meanings. Okay? These are not found in technical language. Second, effects and original metaphors. All these aesthetics, we don't have them. الجماليات اللغة, we don't have them in technical language. There are three style levels of technical style, of the technical style. We have the academic, in which the vocabulary is transferred or borrowed. نستعير اللغة أو نستعير الكلمات من لغات تانية. Okay? Like the word, for example, pneumonia, اللي هو التهاب رئوي. This is a word that we borrowed, or that English borrowed from Greek, and we borrowed this word from English. Okay? The other style is the professional style, and this style's vocabulary is formal and used by the experts in the field. And the third one are the popular styles, such as the layman's vocabulary. And the layman's vocabulary are all the familiar alternative terms. Instead of using very complex terms, the jargon of the specialized language, we use some alternative words that are easier to understand from the public. Okay? Like, for example, instead of using the actual scientific word for stroke, سكتة, we use the word that is simpler, that people know, which is stroke. Okay? Translation methods. How do we translate this technical language? For translators to engage in translating technical text, they should be familiar with the technical disciplines. As we said, if you want to translate medicine, you need to have the knowledge in medicine. If you want to translate engineering texts, you have to have the knowledge in engineering. They should consult experts in the field. It's not enough to know these disciplines, but you also need the help of experts in this field. This is an indispensable precondition to engage in technical translation. It is important for you, first, to know the discipline, second, to seek the help of experts, because technical terms always change, develop, new words come into the language, so you need to be up to date with them. There are alternative terms, يعني في مرادفات أو كلمات أخرى for these technical terms, so translators have to choose the correct alternatives. Translators should underline all words and structures that are unfamiliar. Then translate sentence by sentence, making grammatical shifts as necessary. شو يعني grammatical shifts? We said that usually the technical language is translated directly as a literal type of translation. However, you need to make some changes to suit the Arabic language. For example, if you're translating to Arabic, okay? So we said that English starts with a noun. Arabic starts its sentence with a verb, for example, okay? Adjectives usually come before the word they modify in English. However, in Arabic, adjectives always come after the noun they modify. الصفة تتبع الموصوف في اللغة العربية واللغة الإنجليزية بالعكس. أوكي، الصفة تأتي قبل الموصوف. Classification of technical terminology. The first category is has those words that have been around for quite some time. يعني there are words that were used before in the technical field that were already translated and their translation was used as is. Okay? So most of them have already been translated into Arabic or transliterated. عربت. Okay? أو borrowed, استعيرت with some naturalization or Arabization, Arabization, naturalization or Arabization, okay? Which means they were changed to suit the phonetic of the Arabic language, okay? It's النظام الصوتي للغة العربية. For example, citric acid is known as حمض الليمون. Cardiac diseases is known as أمراض القلب. So some are translated, some are transliterated, and some are borrowed. The second category are those terms that are more recent. We call them neologisms, new word, okay? Especially when we talk about applied sciences, العلوم التطبيقية, or technology, في التكنولوجيا. These are, as I said, neologisms, new words, or they are not always easily understood. We can't understand them unless we know them or unless we need to know the context in which they are used in. Like some acronyms like the UNESCO, Blazer, AIDS, they symbolize. These are acronyms that symbolize things, okay, like UNESCO is the United Nations Education, Science, and something I forgot, organization, okay? Laser stands for something and AIDS stands for something else. So now they became words that are known, okay? So we can use them, or we can use their acronym in Arabic. We say UNESCO in Arabic. We say also laser, and we say AIDS in Arabic. Okay? So transliteration اللي هو التعريب باللغة العربية. There are difficulties in doing transliteration. Why? Because some of these differences come from the phonological system, النظام الصوتي, between Arabic and English. There is a big difference between the phonological system in the Arabic language and in the English language. The main problem is between the consonant and the vowels. ما بين الحروف الساكنة consonants وحروف العلة vowels. Why? Some letters, for example, in English are not pronounced. Okay? Some letters do not exist, whether in English or in Arabic. Like the V in English is not found in Arabic. We don't have it. Like the Dad in Arabic is not found in English. Okay? And some letters have more than one pronunciation. Like A مثلا أو الألف الممدود الألف اللي على السطر الألف المقصورة. Okay, so there are different uses of these letters, whether it's in English or in Arabic. The solution is to use diacritics, okay, اللي هي حركات التشكيل, or to use addition بإضافة بعض الأحرف للكلمة. The other thing that we can use or that we have difficulties in translating are affixes. What are affixes? Affixes can be divided into two parts, prefixes, okay, or suffixes. Prefixes are البادئات. البادئات are letters that are added to the words at the beginning of the words. So technical terms, most of the technical terms use Latin or Greek affixes in English, okay? And affixes, as we said, are prefixes or suffixes. When we talk about the prefix اللي هي البادئات, they are classified into two main types. We have the affixes that are used exclusively for scientific and technical disciplines. We only use them for technical and scientific disciplines. Like, for example, cardio, the word or the prefix cardio is only used with scientific and technical discipline. And this word is a Greek word or a Latin word that is related to the heart, okay? So when we use the word cardiovascular, it means القلب والأوعية الدموية, okay? So this is related to the heart and the veins. The second type, or the second main classification, is used as well in common words. Okay, we can use them, these prefixes, in common words. So the first category are only used for scientific and technical terms. The second category, we can use them with common words, like the word tele. Tele is a prefix, like telephone, okay? Phone and tele, these are two words that we combine to form telephone, okay? Which means at or over a long distance. Suffixes, on the other hand, are what we call اللواحق. And these are letters or parts of a word that are attached to the word at the end of this word, okay? So most suffixes in English are not technical, unlike the prefixes. Normally, they do not change the meaning of the word when they are added to it. They only change what we call the class of the word, meaning the part of speech. It's a noun. Then if we add a suffix, for example, it becomes an adjective or an adverb, okay? So for example, the noun danger, if we add the suffix OUS to it, it becomes an adjective and it's dangerous. Okay? Some suffixes are exclusive to scientific and technical texts and change the meaning of the word if they are added to the root. Okay? So the suffix al, okay, for example, if it is added to the verb arrive, it becomes a noun, arrival, and it changes the meaning of the word. The suffix gami, okay, is another type of suffix that changes the meaning of the word, and like polygamy, okay, تعدد الزوجات. Poly means two. When it is attached to gami, polygamy, it becomes تعدد الزوجات. Linking devices. There are words or devices that link words together. Okay, so usually when you write a text, you write paragraphs, and a paragraph is the main unit of a discourse in English. To write a text, you will have lots of paragraphs. Then you will need coherence to make the process logical, okay? To go from idea to one idea to another, to go from one point to another, you need coherence between the paragraphs. And coherence is an essential characteristic of a good paragraph. You need it to be coherent, منطقي, when you go from one point to another, from one paragraph to another. Some linking devices are classified into conjunction, أدوات الربط. Substitution, we substitute a word for another. Ellipsis, we omit some words. References, what we call in Arabic الكناية، إنه هاي الكلمة عائدة على كلمة تانية في الجملة. And lexical, on the level of the word itself. So these are the categories of linking devices. Let's take them one at a time. Conjunction, أدوات الربط, and these are usually either coordinating conjunctions, اللي هي what we call fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, okay? Subordinating conjunctions like because, however, moreover, okay? And other words or phrases that have the same duty, that do the same thing of linking, like additions, and, nor, or, add to that, for example, comparison and contrast, اللي هي on the other hand, in the same way, sorry, cause and effect, condition, like so, then, therefore, words that talk about time, temporal function, like then, next, in the second hand, okay? Other functions like continuation, like of course, we will keep talking about something, or well, anyway, what we want to say is, okay, so we continue our thought. Substitution. So substitution is the replacement of one item by another in the text. نحط كلمة محل كلمة تانية في النص، أو شبه جملة محل شبه جملة أو كلمة تانية في النص. There are three types of substitution. We either substitute at a nominal level, like we substitute one's same for the word. For example, my axe is too blunt. I must get a sharper one. One here substitutes axe. Okay, the word axe. It could be verbal using the verb do. You think John already knows? I think everybody does. Does goes back to know. or closal اللي هي العلاقة بالclose بشبه الجملة using the word so or not for an entire clause. We substitute شبه جملة كاملة بكلمة so أو and not. Of course you agree to have a battle. I suppose so. هون so أجت بدل مين؟ بدل ما أقول I suppose I agree to have a battle. Okay. We changed it with, or we substituted it with the word so. Ellipsis is when we omit something. This is similar to substitution. Ellipsis is defined as substituting by zero. In substitution, we substitute a word or a clause or a verb for another word. Ellipsis, we do substitute, however, we use a zero substitution. It means that we remove words and phrases. There are three types of ellipsis too. There is a nominal ellipsis using a word, not a noun. It's a word that functions as a noun. Like, for example, they haven't got my usual morning paper. Can I borrow yours? هون yours عائدة على مين? Your paper. So we omitted the word paper. Instead of saying, can I borrow your paper? Okay, I used yours. I omitted the word paper. It could be verbal. The substitution happens within the verb group. Okay. The first one, the nominal, happens at the noun level, while the verbal happens at the verb level. Have you been swimming? The answer is yes, I have. So have here, we omit the word yes, I have been swimming. We only say I have. Okay, so we omitted the verb been swimming. Or clausal, which is the omission of part of a clause, اللي هي منشيل جزء من شبه الجملة. Okay, so was she driving the car? The answer is no. Instead of saying no, she wasn't driving the car. So we omitted all of this clause. Okay. Reference اللي هي الكنية اللي هي عائدة على something. These lexical items cannot be interpreted on their own. You will not understand them unless they refer back to something else. Okay? There are three types of references. We have personals. These are personal and possessive pronouns like me, you, we, us, yours, his. For example, I asked Mr. Jordan for the answer, but he didn't know it. It here refers back to the word answer. We will not understand it unless we know the first part of the sentence. We have demonstrative words like this, that, these, and these also we will not understand them unless we know the first part of the sentence. For example, it's an old box camera. I never had one of that kind. That refers to the old box camera. Okay. Or we have comparative, and these are item meaning. Okay? Items meaning identity or non-identity or similarity. Like same, identical, equal, similar, additional, other, different, else, better, more, and so on and so forth. Or they could be adverbs, ظروف, identically, similarly, likewise, so, differently, otherwise, so, more, وبنعادي مرتين هون, sorry, more, less, and equally. Okay? For example, it's the same as the car we saw. The same refers back to the car. The last device that we will talk about is the lexical device, okay, on the level of the word itself. So these are vocabulary or lexical items, words. They need cohesion, ترابط بين بعض. And we achieve cohesion by using repetition of the same lexical item. منكرر الكلمة في خلال النص عشان ما يصيرش فيه لبس في الفهم. We can use synonyms to show other words or to refer to other words, مرادفات. Or we can use an item that includes the original one, what we call a superordinate, اللي هي الفئة. What do I mean by a superordinate? عندنا مثلا سيارة الجاguar refers to الفئة اللي أعلى منها اللي هي car. يعني عندنا الفئة الكبيرة car, okay, تحتها we have Jaguar, we have Mercedes, we have BMW, we have Hyundai, okay? So these are all, these types of car refer back to one superordinate, which is car. The same goes for insects, okay? The superordinate is insects, and under insects, we have ants, we have cockroaches, we have bees. All of these are insects. The last thing we will talk about are translation difficulties. Where do we find the problems when translating from one language into another in the technical language? We find problems in the number and gender when we write. What do I mean? Number, is it singular? Is it plural? Some words in English are singular, but when we translate them into Arabic, they become plural, for example, أو العكس. في كلمات في اللغة الإنجليزية بتكون مفردة، لما نحولها أو نترجمها للغة العربية بتصير جمع، أو العكس صحيح. Masculine or feminine for gender. There are words in Arabic or in English that are masculine, مذكرة. When we translate them, they become feminine. They become مؤنثة, okay? For example, earth in English is masculine. However, when we translate it in Arabic, al-ard becomes feminine. Al-ard هي. The earth is masculine. Okay? Jewels, al-muthanna. For example, in English, we don't have jewels, but in Arabic, we have. In English, we say two teachers came into the class. However, in Arabic, we say دخل معلمان. We don't say اثنين معلم, we say معلمان because we have مثنى, jewels, in the Arabic language. There are special pronouns in Arabic, for example, that do not exist in English. For example, the third person singular pronoun you in English, when we say you, we don't know if it's feminine or masculine. However, in Arabic, we know we say anta or anti. Same goes for the third person plural pronoun you. We have it, all of you, okay? We have in Arabic antum, antunna, but in English we don't have it. Another thing that we have in Arabic that is difficult to translate unless you separate it in English are what we call the attached pronouns, الضمائر المتصلة, okay? And these do not exist in English, like كتابك وتذهب أنت تذهب أو أنت تذهبين. So كتابك in English is translated as your book, two separate words. However, in Arabic, it's one word, okay? Or تذهب, you go, in English are also two different or separate words. So in brief, this is unit 3 of your book, and it talks about technical words, how to translate them, what are the difficulties in translating them, what are the categories that they belong to, okay? So read your textbook in unit 3, do the exercises that you have in the book, and read the examples. They will help you a lot. All right, everyone, thank you for being here, and good luck in your exams. I will see you after your midterm exam. Bye bye.